Hi everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing really well and welcome to my spoiler review for Unraveller by Frances Hardinge. So this I received a proof copy for at the YA Literature Convention back in the beginning of July, and I read it almost immediately. I've been meaning to do this review for ages, but you know how I am. It takes me a while to get to things nowadays because I am far too busy. So yeah, I'm finally gonna get to my spoiler review for this. It is out now, by the way, so it came out beginning of September, so it is alright already. I would definitely recommend you go and buy it, but yeah, without any further ado, here is my spoiler review for this book. So the synopsis is, in a world where anyone can create a life-destroying curse, only one person has the power to unravel them. Kellen does not fully understand his talent, but helps those transformed maliciously, including Nettle. Recovered from entrapment in bird form, she is now his constant companion and closest ally. But Kellen has also been cursed, and unless he and Nettle can remove his curse, Kellen is in danger of unravelling everything and everyone around him. My initial thoughts of this book was just that I absolutely adored this book. Like, I have got nothing but good things to say about this book. You know, from the characters, to the plot, to the world building, to the themes, to the writing. Like, this book is absolutely perfect. It just has absolutely everything. There is no part of it that lets down any of the others. Like, I just can't gush about this enough. I love this book so goddamn much. Even the cover as well is absolutely gorgeous. This is like similar enough, I think, to how the actual cover is. Because I saw a hardback version of it and watched it the other day. It looks so pretty. I've read this author before with Deep Light, and that book blew me away as well. You know, she's just got this fantastic talent of writing these really likeable characters in these worlds that just have such a uniqueness to them. You know, you're hooked in and then you're topped off with sort of a really gripping story as well. You know, Unraveller was just such a treat to read. And I'm just so excited that I did actually get this copy of it, because otherwise I'm not sure if I would have actually picked it up or something. And shut the fuck up. And honestly, you know, it's just such a great read, and it's definitely made me want to check out this author more since she's blown me away completely with 2 books now. We'll start with our characters as well. You know, our 2 main characters are Kellen and Nettle, as already mentioned, and they're just joy to follow. Kellen is a 15-year-old boy who has left his family and is now sort of wandering around trying to fix curses using his unravelling talents. He's mouthy, but he has a good heart, and he's genuinely all-round a really likeable wee boy. He's definitely flawed, and this is explored throughout the book, and you know, with his attitude to cursors and even towards the people he helps, you kind of understand why he has that attitude. But seeing his journey in the story, it's just a really rewarding arc to follow, and he's funny and fun, and I just really love him. He's got lots of layers to him as well, which is just always great in characters. Nettle as well, she's such a great foil to Kellen, you know, where he's all mouth and loud and getting him into trouble. She's his quiet companion, you know, trying her best to keep him out of trouble, and then, you know, sitting in her thoughts and reflecting on everything rather than acting rashly like he does. And if she can't get him out of trouble, she'll gladly follow him into it. You know, there's a lot more to her than meets the eye as well, and I really loved the chapters from her point of view, because you get a really great insight into what she's thinking, especially when, you know, you've just read a chapter where Kellen's having all these ideas about what he thinks is going on in her head, and then when you get to her chapter you actually see what she's thinking, and I think that was such a really great way to have that dual POV. You as the reader are clued into what's going on with both of them, but you then get to see how they, as characters, don't know what's happening to one another and don't know what the other are thinking, and how that creates tension and drama later in the book. You know, Nettle's got a lot of secrets to keep, even from Kellen, and her characterisation is just so interesting as well. You know, she was cursed to become a bird, and you get to see how much that has changed her. You get to see their friendship really well as well, and you know, you completely understand why they have the bond that they do, and seeing them challenge one another as the book goes on was really fun to see as well. The supporting cast are also really great characters too. You have Gull, who's the mysterious horseman, who's a man who approaches Kellen and Nettle to hire them for his employer. And he spends time with our duo as he takes them to different jobs. You know, being a horseman in this world as well is already quite mysterious, but Gull is, you know, he also has his personal life, you know, trying to follow him, and he appears to be running from it a little, and you spend the book wondering who he is, why he works for his employer, how he became a horseman, why he's left his home the way it is. He's the annoying, responsible adult in Kellen and Nettle's lives for the first part of the book, and I really like the dynamic that has. And I very much enjoy the question around whether they can actually trust him or not, and the person he works for. You know, I really do just enjoy how they don't just go straight forward into things. They are like, wait, no, who the fuck is this guy? Can we actually trust him? The plot is really well paced as well. I think there's a really great rhythm to the events in this book. You have a good amount of big action pieces, progression of the mystery, and character moments to help move the journey forward. You see Kellen's unravelling powers in action, and you get a really good sense as to who he is through these actions, as well as a good look into how Nettle helps with this and what her role in their sort of duo is. You're landed right into an unravelling that ends up with Kellen in trouble, and I think this is a really great intro to the character, as you know, you see firsthand how he gets himself into situations that could have been avoided if he kept his mouth shut. But it's Kellen, so of course he's going to say what's on his mind. And you can practically just see Nettle sitting there like, oh my god, if he just shut up we wouldn't be in this position. You know, it's definitely not a slow start to the book. I think that the ending as well, it's not rushed at all, and as I said, it's just paced really well overall. It's very easy to get through, never a dull moment, but it's never overwhelming either. There's just a really good balance between the plot and the character moment, and then how the two, you know, I wouldn't say this is a character driven book, but neither it's a plot driven book. It's very well mixed between the two as to what's driving the story forward and why. Obviously the world building here is awesome. Like the whole concept of the curses is a great idea. Like, what would a world look like if you could physically affect someone who you feel wronged you in quite a creative way? You know, there's definitely something I love about the curses is how creative they are and how it relates to the person who has felt wronged by that person and why they've gone for that curse in particular. There's also the concept of the wilds being this magical place owned and controlled by the magical creatures, and humans kind of have a strict treaty with the magical creatures to share the place called the wilds and make deals and trades across it. It's an interesting way of having magic in this world, but keeping it separate from the humans. You kind of have the sort of magical worlds versus the kind of human settlement. I just think that's a really interesting distinction that she went for in this book. I love how the wilds are described and how the human settlements within it come about and what those people are like in there. You know, it's a very different way of life to that out with the wilds. You know, the mythology, history and the lore it's in depth enough for you to understand the context within which the story takes place, but isn't too overwhelming or confusing. You kind of want to know a little bit more, but you know, I think that's what makes this book work so well, is that leaving you wanting just that little bit more information about what this world is like, but you still have plenty to be able to imagine it and understand what's going on. But I have to say, what really makes this book as phenomenal as it is the theming that Hardinge works with. You have this concept of curses and curse eggs, and you see Kellen and Nettle deal with both cursers and those who have been cursed, and by the very nature of his unravelling gift, Kellen is forced to understand the cursers and why they feel driven to do the things that they do. It makes for a really great narrative where not everything's black and white. There's a whole ton of grey area, you know, a grey area around whether the cursed deserved what happens to them, whether the cursers are justified in their actions or not. It just very much examines human relationships and how people can hurt one another, and it takes apart the concept of revenge and taking your anger out on other people. And it just really does a great job at just discussing how we all treat one another and how feelings can be hurt or betrayed by those closest to us. It's incredible and done in a way that it just completely complements the story. It doesn't feel like it comes out of nowhere. This is a story that wants to examine human relationships and revenge and taking your anger out on one another, and it's explored through these fantastic characters and this fantastic plot in this world. That's all I can really say without getting into spoilers, but overall, like, this is just such a good book. Like I said, the writing is really great, you know, it's just really magical, and you get a really good sense as to what this world looks like, what these characters look like, you know, everything's described well and you can imagine it really easily. Like I said, it's paced so well, the themes are just phenomenal, and yeah, I've got nothing but good things to say about this. I absolutely adore this book. It's just so magical and whimsical, and like I said, the characters are just so compelling to follow. You really just feel so hooked in and want to find out what's going to happen with them. And the arcs that they both go on and the way that they both develop is just so great and so interesting to see happen in this book. I can't recommend it enough. It's out now. Definitely go buy it, go read it. I highly recommend this one. It's just utterly fantastic. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Have you read Unraveller already? Definitely let me know what you thought of it. Do you agree when I say that it's a really great book? Did you not enjoy it? You know, let's have a discussion about our differences, about what we thought about this book. And have you read any other books by this author? I've read this and I've read Deep Light, and I also have a copy of The Lie Tree. Are there any others that you would recommend to me, knowing what I think about this book? Let me know down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. If you've reached the end of this video, feel free to leave a like and feel free to subscribe. I post 2 videos a week. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.